Morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here. You can maybe see from the graphic behind me the kind of week it's been. Um, I don't know about you, but when I first joined TOPS many years ago, I knew I had it all figured out. I found this wonderful support group, and they were going to help me do what I knew I needed to do. And I was just going to go straight to my goal and live happily ever after. And lo and behold, I discovered that the line leading to where I wanted to be and where I would prefer to live my life was certainly not a straight line. And it's had many ups and downs, twists and turns, detours, rose-closed signs, opportunities to recalculate, as my GPS is always telling me. And what I've come to learn is what we deal with is quite complex, and it involves all of our aspects of our lives every single day in many ways that I originally was unaware. In many ways, it's not really eating and activity that are at sometimes the biggest issues for me. Sometimes other things are more important in helping me find the right path to follow or to change directions when I think that I'm stuck and I'm wanting to give up. And a lot of these come in what I like to frame as eating challenges. And since this is, for me, the eating season of the year, and I posted earlier last week my little chart about the last part of the year and how many days are really pretty much designated as days where food is the center of attention. And there aren't that many actual days where food is the center of attention. Then why is it that we struggle so much during this time of the year? And I think that often the eating challenges indicate, to me anyway, other aspects of getting a handle on how I use food in my everyday life, what food actually means in my everyday life, in addition to nurturing my body, and even what activity means in my everyday life in terms of staying strong and healthy and able to do what I want to do as I move forward in my life. And so I was thinking it might be helpful for us to look at some eating challenges during these last few weeks we have when food is so much a part of what we're experiencing in this season. It is probably, for me, the more difficult of seasons. And I remember years and years ago, someone that some of you may remember called Richard Simmons said that his goal during this time of the year was to not gain, that if he did not gain, he considered it to be a successful way of handling this challenging season. And one of the things that occurred to me, and each week for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be talking about a different challenge to me. But one that I'd like to talk to you briefly about today is listening to my own body and what it's telling me. You know, your body wants to survive. That's its prime directive always, to be able to function well and empower you to do what you want to do. There's an instinctive ability built in there that all of us have, but sometimes we lose touch with it, or we're afraid to trust the messenger. Do I trust what my body is saying to me? Am I even really listening to my body, or am I trying to decide I know better than what my body is trying to tell me? Uh, Sometimes I think we're afraid of losing control, that we don't dare eat what we love because we're afraid if we eat what we love, we're not going to be able to stop. And that makes it really, really difficult. So, what I would like to do is just look at some problems that I've experienced in my time and ask you to look at them as well and reflect on them and how it impacts your ability to listen to the messages our bodies send us and to trust how our body knows what is really best for it in terms of keeping it active and healthy. How many of you have this situation occur to you sometimes? That you have trouble identifying or using the signals of hunger and fullness that your body sends to you to help guide you when you eat. I know Michelle May always says, ask the question, am I hungry? How many of us ask ourselves that question where we're in a situation where there is something available to eat? Do you ever think to yourself, is this really hunger I'm feeling? Or maybe I'm just tired. Or maybe I'm just thirsty. What is it my body is telling me? How many of you know that hungry sensation in your tummy when the fuel is gone and you're looking to get some more fuel to empower your body? That's a signal I sometimes get clouded up. The other day, I was in the office and I had been really focusing on some stuff I wanted to get done and out the door because other people were relying on me. And I had spent a good bit of time in here. And I got this feeling and I thought, I need to go get something to eat. So I went out to the kitchen and I'm looking around. I'm not hungry. My body is saying to me, Barbara, you had breakfast. You're not hungry. What you are is thirsty. So I went over and I got a bottle of water out of the fridge and popped the top and walked around a little bit and just took a break, just a break. And by the time I came back to my office, that sensation was gone that I was feeling. And I thought, I need to do that more often. Give myself a chance to reconnect with my body and listen to the message. Another thing that I wonder about is, do I know the difference between feeling physically hungry and being head hungry? That's a toughie. Especially during this season when there are things around that are so associated with my memories of wonderful times and love and affection and family and friends. These foods trigger what I want to say is hunger. But no, it's not really hunger. What it's triggering is the warm feelings that are associated with those particular items and this particular season. And that, to me, is a real challenge when I sit down to the table and I look at all these things and I say to myself, this is the dressing that Grandma always made, and it's her gravy recipe as well. Or, oh wow, this is Mom's pumpkin pie recipe. Or, oh my goodness, look at that. There's Aunt Eleanor's raisin cookie recipe. I used to love as a small child to stand beside her and help her roll out those raisin cookies and put them in the oven, and the wonderful smell. You see what I'm saying? I'm hungry for the memory. I'm not physically hungry. I'm probably perfectly happy and satiated from a physical hunger need standpoint. But I don't think we ever always fill up with that emotional hunger. You know, the desire to reconnect with family that some have passed, and the memory lingers and the love is always there of them, and they're missed, and you want to reconnect with that. So that's one of my challenges this particular time of year, is how the difference between uh, physical hunger and head hunger can be defined and help me make better choices. Um, Another thing that I really struggle with during this time of the year is consistency. Um, I don't know about you, but during the holidays, often my routine gets a little bit out of kilter. And also, mentally, I tell myself, well, I am just not going to eat all day long, and then I'll be ready for whatever the meal is in the designated gathering time for the entire clan of us that get together. Uh, I'll just save all of my food for that one time. Well, often in my home, in my situation, by the time the meal is ready, if you did not eat anything prior to the meal, you're so hungry, physically hungry, because our holiday meals are almost always around 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, which is a little bit late for a lot of people. I am ravenous. I really am hungry, and my body is not happy with me. And when that happens, that's a real challenge, because my body is telling me, listen, Barbara, you need to put something in your stomach. You need to fuel me. I am running on empty here. Yes, I've been burning fat. That's very true. And the danger for me when that happens is that I will overeat and try to quickly fill my body before my body gets a chance to say, okay, that's enough. You can stop now. I'm good. Everything's cool. I believe you're not trying to starve me to death. And it takes about 20 minutes for that to happen. And if any of you who ever cooked a holiday dinner knows that you can work all day on that dinner, sometimes even 3 or 4 days, and by 20 minutes, it's done. Everything's over. So your body doesn't always even have a chance to get the message that, yes, I'm quite satisfied now, you can quit. The other thing that really goes hand in hand with that is part of the challenge of trusting my body, is I tend to eat too fast when I am ravenously hungry. And very often, because I'm eating too fast, because the need level is really high, I eat too much before my body can say, whoa, time to stop, put the brakes on, we're good now. So that's another danger that I have to be aware of when it comes to interpreting signals correctly, and how I go about setting myself up for the best possible outcomes during the holidays. Another thing that I think of during this time of the year that is a challenge and is related again to trusting what my body is trying to tell me, is that I tend to eat mindlessly. Um, and that's without thinking. It's there, so take a piece. This is especially true for uh, me if I'm trying to get a variety of things done or I'm working and multitasking. If I don't know if you're a food taster, uh, there are times, depending on what I'm trying to do, where certain seasonings are delicate and important to get balanced correctly, that I taste food and I don't think about what I'm doing, and I can taste myself into having eaten a meal if I'm not aware of what I'm doing. Just mindlessly, well, let me taste that. No, it needs a little more of this. It needs a little more of that. Taste, taste, taste. Or if things are out and available and you're passing by them and you just take a piece and you don't think about it and you don't figure it into your daily food consumption. And when the week is over, you think, wow, I wonder why the scales show gain. Well, it's probably because I took all those little mindless bits as I was going about the day in a variety of ways, just because it was there, not because my body was saying, Barbara, you're hungry, you need to sit down and get something to eat. But no, it was just there, and I know it's good, I know it's pleasant, and it was available. So I took a taste. Well, it's not hard to taste your way into 1,000 extra calories. You can do that very, very easily. And that can really derail some of your best efforts. So being mindless and not listening to my body, it's there, I did it. I tasted it, I didn't write it down. Mindless thinking, again, gets me in trouble when I should be listening to what my body's message is. And then I guess the other one is I don't think that I like the word diet as the way it's generally used. Diet to me says restrict. Diet should be just the way we eat. Whatever food plan you choose, it is in fact your diet, your plan, your precedent, your preference. If you're a person who likes a Mediterranean style food plan, that's a diet. If you're a person that prefers a vegan food plan, that again is a diet. If you do gluten free, again, that's another diet. It's just a way of eating. And yet we make this into some abstract construct in which we think we have to live the rest of our lives. That I'm always going to have to be, and listen to the words carefully, I'm always going to have to be on a diet, which means that I'm never going to listen to my body and what my body tells me. Instead, I'm going to construct this thing artificially, and that's what I'm going to eat. My body probably is going to tell me a lot about how I should be eating, what foods I should choose at any given time, if I will just allow myself to attune myself to those signals. I got to thinking about this the other day because we were in the candy making phase of preparation for the holidays, because we gift certain foods to different people at different times. And I have been working in those things all day long. And my natural reaction, because it was there, would have been to grab a piece of whatever I was making at that particular time. And I thought, no, wait a minute. Take a breath. Just think. My body actually said to me two things. It said, Barbara, you need some water, and you actually need a piece of fruit. And I thought, yeah, I do. I thought there's really great little apples in there. I think I'm just going to go out on the deck because it was, it was around 60. I said, I'm going to just take a break, go out on the deck, drink my bottle of water, and crunch on this apple. And I cannot tell you how happy my body was that I did that. And as I'm sitting there, I thought, Barbara, you need to take time to pay attention and trust your body's wisdom. So that's one of the challenges this week that I tried to be more aware of and to try to deal with appropriately, rather than just to eat because it was there, to figure out whether I was heart hungry, head hungry, rather than physically hungry, to not starve myself. All of these things that we've just talked about in the last few minutes are common for me at this time of the year, and I hope just referencing them to you will give you some awareness that might help you make better choices during the weeks to come. I'm going to get off here because it's a busy day. Monday's always a busy day. I need to go over to my chapter and get my weight checked, and I need to go for my walk because we have a snowstorm in the forecast, and I know if I don't get at it, time will slip away from me, and I'll miss the opportunity to be outdoors and in the fresh air, which I really love. I hope you have an excellent day today. I hope you enjoy every aspect of it, and I hope that you, too, will learn to trust the signals that your body wants to share with you about your journey to where you want to be. I wish you every success. Bye for now.